Ever notice how it feels like you just catch things more easily these days? Maybe a cold seems to hang on for weeks instead of a few days. Or you feel run down more often than you used to. It's frustrating, isn't it? It feels like your body just isn't fighting things off with the same speed and strength it once did. You might wonder if it's just you, or if something deeper is happening. Well, there's a hidden truth about what happens inside our bodies as we get older, especially after we cross that milestone age of 65. Our incredible immune system, the body's natural defense force, undergoes some significant changes. It's not about it giving up, but it does start working a little differently. Understanding these shifts isn't meant to scare you, but to empower you, because while some changes are natural, there is so much you can do to support your immune system and help it stay as strong and capable as possible. In this video, we're going to explore 6 specific things that happen to your immune system after the age of 65. We'll break down what these changes actually mean for you in everyday life and, most importantly, we'll talk about practical ways you can help keep your defenses up. This isn't about complicated medical jargon. It's about simple, actionable insights. Watch to the very end for something that will surprise you about just how much control you still have over your health and well-being as you age. Let's start by looking at one of the most fundamental changes that begins to happen within your immune system. Something quite remarkable but often overlooked. Imagine your body's immune system as a vast army defending your castle against invaders. This army needs constant replenishment and training for its soldiers. A key training ground and production center for some of the most crucial immune cells, specifically the T cells, is a small organ located in your chest called the thymus. When we are young, the thymus is large and very active, churning out millions of brand new, highly effective T cells, ready to identify and neutralize new threats the body has never encountered before. These are like the fresh recruits, eager and adaptable, able to learn about any new enemy that comes along. However, after the age of 65, the thymus undergoes a process called involution. Essentially, it starts to shrink and becomes less active. It doesn't disappear entirely, but its capacity to produce these new, naive T cells dramatically decreases. Think of that training facility getting smaller and slower. What this means is that your body produces far fewer of these fresh recruits. The army you have is still there, but it consists more and more of the veteran soldiers, the memory T cells. These memory cells are excellent at recognizing and quickly responding to threats they've seen before, like viruses you had decades ago or vaccines you received in the past. They remember the face of the enemy, but they aren't as good at identifying and mounting a strong first response to entirely new pathogens. A brand new virus circulating for the first time. For example, this shift, fewer new T cells and more memory T cells, is one reason why older adults might be more susceptible to new infections, or why those infections might hit harder. Your immune system has a fantastic memory for past battles, but it's slower to adapt to a completely novel enemy. It takes more time for the existing forces to figure out how to fight it effectively. It's not that your immune system is weak, but it's like having an army of experienced soldiers who are amazing at repeating past strategies, but need more time to figure out a new battle plan against an enemy using unfamiliar tactics. Following on from the reduction in new T cells, the function of the T cells you do have also tends to change with age. Even those veteran memory T cells, while great at recognizing familiar foes, might not perform their duties with the same vigor as they did in their prime. T cells have several critical roles. Some T cells, called helper T cells, are like the generals and communicators of the immune army. They help orchestrate the response. Others, called killer T cells, are the direct combatants. They identify and destroy infected cells or abnormal cells like cancer cells. After 65, the ability of these T cells to communicate effectively can lessen. They might produce fewer cytokines, which are chemical messengers that tell other immune cells where to go and what to do. This can lead to a slower or less coordinated immune response. The killer T cells might also become less efficient at finding and eliminating their targets. Think of it like the soldier's aim isn't quite as sharp, or they're a bit slower to pull the trigger. This reduced effectiveness means that even when your body does recognize a threat, clearing it out might take longer or require more effort. This isn't a sudden drop-off, but a gradual shift. You might notice this if you get a cold that lingers for weeks, or if you feel generally unwell for a longer period after exposure to a bug. Your immune system is working, but it's having to work harder and longer to achieve the same result it once did almost effortlessly. This combination, fewer new soldiers and the existing soldiers being slightly less efficient, creates a situation where your immune system is still capable, but perhaps not as resilient or quick to adapt as it was in earlier decades. It highlights the importance of giving your immune system all the support you can through healthy lifestyle choices. Simple things we often take for granted play a huge role in supporting the function of these critical T cells. Getting enough quality sleep, for instance, is crucial for immune cells to do their repair work and communicate effectively. Chronic stress, on the other hand, can suppress T cell activity. So, managing stress through relaxation techniques or spending time on hobbies you enjoy isn't just good for your mental health. It directly benefits your immune system's fighting force. And proper nutrition. Providing the vitamins and minerals these cells need to function is like providing your army with the right fuel and ammunition. We'll talk more about specific ways to support these functions as we continue. Moving from the T cells, which are like the soldiers identifying and destroying threats. Let's look at another vital part of your immune system. The B cells. These cells are responsible for producing antibodies. Think of antibodies as tiny, targeted missiles that lock onto specific invaders, like viruses or bacteria, marking them for destruction or neutralizing them directly. They are absolutely crucial for long-term immunity, which is why vaccines work. They teach your B cells how to make antibodies against a particular threat without you having to get sick first. Just like with T cells, the production of brand new, naive B cells also decreases after 65. This means there are fewer new B cells available to learn how to make antibodies against novel threats. The B cells you have are also more likely to be memory B cells, ready to churn out antibodies against things they've seen before. While they are good at that, the speed and strength of their response to something completely new can be reduced. Furthermore, even the quality of the antibodies produced by older B cells can sometimes be different. They might not bind to the invader quite as strongly or be as effective at neutralizing it. This is why, for example, the seasonal flu vaccine is so important for older adults, even though its effectiveness might be slightly lower compared to younger individuals. Your immune system still learns from the vaccine and produces protective antibodies. Just maybe not in the same massive quantities or with the same swiftness it once did. It's still your best defense against serious illness from familiar pathogens. This change in B cell function is another piece of the puzzle explaining why new infections can be more challenging to fight off as you age. Your body is slower to generate those specific antibody missiles needed for a new enemy. Now, let's talk about something that has gained a lot of attention in recent years and is strongly linked to immune-aging chronic low-grade inflammation. This is often referred to as inflammaging. You've probably heard of inflammation as the body's response to injury or infection, redness, swelling, heat, pain. That's acute inflammation. And it's a healthy, necessary process for healing and fighting off immediate threats. Inflammaging is different. It's a persistent, low-level activation of the immune system throughout the body, even when there's no obvious injury or infection to fight. It's like the immune system's alarm system is constantly buzzing quietly in the background. Why does this happen? Several factors contribute, including the accumulation of damaged cells over time, changes in gut bacteria, and the immune system becoming slightly dysregulated with age. This chronic low-grade inflammation isn't just a harmless background noise. It's now understood to be a significant driver of many age-related conditions, including cardiovascular disease, type 2 diabetes, neurodegenerative diseases like Alzheimer's, and even frailty. It creates a constant state of stress on the body's tissues and organs. Think of it as constant low-level friction or wear and tear happening inside. This persistent inflammation also impacts the immune system itself, diverting resources and potentially making it less effective at responding properly to acute threats like infections or detecting abnormal cells like cancer cells. It's like your immune army is distracted and partially occupied dealing with internal squabbles, the inflammation, instead of being fully ready to defend against external invaders. Managing this chronic inflammation is incredibly important for overall health and supporting a more effective immune response. Simple lifestyle choices can have a big impact on inflammaging. Diet plays a huge role. Eating plenty of fruits, vegetables, whole grains, lean proteins, and healthy fats like those found in olive oil and fatty fish provides the body with antioxidants and anti-inflammatory compounds that can help dampen this chronic internal fire. Conversely, diets high in processed foods, sugar, and unhealthy fats can fuel inflammation. Regular physical activity is another powerful tool. Moderate exercise helps regulate the immune system and reduce inflammation. Managing stress and getting enough sleep are also crucial, as chronic stress and sleep deprivation can worsen inflammation, even focusing on gut health. Perhaps by including probiotic-rich foods like yogurt or fermented vegetables, or prebiotic-rich foods like fiber, can help modulate inflammation originating in the gut. Addressing this chronic inflammation is one of the most proactive steps you can take to support your immune system and overall health as you age. Next, let's consider another aspect of your immune system's cellular defense, the function of other types of white blood cells. Beyond just the T and B cells we discussed, your immune system has a diverse cast of characters, including cells like neutrophils, macrophages, and natural killer cells. Neutrophils are often the first responders, rapidly traveling to the site of an infection to engulf and destroy pathogens. Macrophages are like the cleanup crew and information gatherers. They engulf invaders, clear debris, and present pieces of the invader to T cells to help them learn. Natural killer cells are specialists at identifying and killing cells infected with viruses or tumor cells. While the total number of some of these cells might not decrease dramatically with age, their functionality can change. Neutrophils might become less mobile, slower to arrive at the site of infection. Macrophages might become less efficient at engulfing pathogens or less effective at stimulating other immune responses. Natural killer cells might become less potent in their ability to identify and destroy target cells. Think of it like different units within the army becoming a bit less sharp, a bit slower, or less effective in their specific tasks. Their equipment might not be as good, or their response time might be slower. This reduction in the effectiveness of these frontline cells contributes to the overall picture of an immune system that is still working, but perhaps not with the same speed, precision, and force as in younger years. It's another reason why, for instance, wound healing might be slower, or why infections can take longer to clear. These cells are vital for the initial containment and clearing of threats. If they are less efficient, it gives the invader more time to establish itself before the full adaptive response involving T and B cells kicks in. Supporting the function of these diverse white blood cells again comes back to those fundamental pillars of health. These cells need adequate nutrition, hydration, and rest to perform their demanding jobs. Deficiencies in certain vitamins and minerals, like zinc and vitamin D, are known to impact the function of these cells. Staying well hydrated ensures that these cells can travel efficiently through the bloodstream to where they are needed. Getting enough protein is essential. As immune cells are made of protein, it's a complex interplay, but the message is consistent. Providing your body with the right building blocks and environment allows your immune cells, of all types, to function as optimally as possible given the natural changes of aging. It's about giving them the best chance to do their job. Now, bringing together some of the changes we've discussed, the decrease in naive T and B cells, the reduced effectiveness of T and B cell function, and potentially less efficient other white blood cells. This directly impacts the body's response to vaccines. We touched on this earlier, but it deserves its own point because it's so relevant to staying healthy as you age. Vaccines work by introducing a harmless version or piece of a pathogen to your immune system, teaching it how to recognize that threat and build immunity mostly through developing memory T and B cells and producing antibodies without causing the actual disease. However, because the aged immune system produces fewer naive T and B cells, the ones needed to learn about new things, like a vaccine antigen, and the memory cells it develops might not be quite as vigorous or produce antibodies that bind as strongly. The response to a vaccine can be different after 65. The immune system might not produce as many antibodies. The antibody levels might decline more quickly, or the overall protective response might not be as robust or long-lasting compared to a younger person. This doesn't mean vaccines don't work for older adults. Far from it. They are still one of the most powerful tools we have for preventing serious illness, hospitalization, and death from infectious diseases like influenza, pneumonia, and COVID-19. But it means that the level of protection might be slightly less, or that protection might wane more quickly. Highlighting the importance of staying up to date with recommended boosters. This also explains why older adults might benefit from higher dose or adjuvanted vaccines with an ingredient that helps create a stronger immune response when available, such as certain flu vaccines specifically designed for seniors. These vaccines are formulated to compensate for the changes in immune response, aiming to stimulate a stronger, more protective reaction. Understanding this isn't a reason to skip vaccines. It's a reason to prioritize them and potentially look into enhanced options if available. Because even a reduced response is far better than no specific protection at all against a dangerous pathogen. So, we've explored 6 key ways your immune system naturally changes after the age of 65. The thymus shrinks, making fewer new immune recruits. Your existing T cells and B cells might not work quite as effectively or quickly. A state of chronic low-grade inflammation. Inflammaging can set in. Other crucial white blood cells might become less efficient. And the overall consequence is that your body's response to new threats and even vaccines can be a bit slower or less robust. It might sound like a lot of challenges. But here's the encouraging part. And this is something that truly surprises many people while these changes are a natural part of aging. Your lifestyle choices have an incredible impact on how well your immune system functions. Despite these shifts, everything we've talked about, from supporting T cell function with sleep and stress management, to fueling B cells and reducing inflammaging with a nutrient-rich diet, to ensuring all your white blood cells are ready for action through hydration and getting essential vitamins. These are all things within your control. You can actively support your immune system by focusing on getting adequate quality sleep each night, staying physically active most days of the week, managing your stress through practices you enjoy, prioritizing nutrient-dense foods, staying well hydrated, and importantly, staying up to date with recommended vaccinations. Think of these habits not just as general healthy living, but as directly supporting your body's ability to defend itself. They are like providing the best possible training, equipment, and environment for your immune army. Remember, these changes to your immune system don't mean it stops working. It just means it's working with a different set of parameters. By understanding these changes and taking proactive steps to support your health, you are giving your immune system the very best chance to protect you effectively as you age. Small, consistent efforts in these areas can make a world of difference in how often you get sick, how quickly you recover, and your overall resilience. Don't let the idea of an aging immune system discourage you. Let it empower you to take even better care of yourself. What have you found helps you stay healthy as you've gotten older? Share your thoughts and experiences in the comments below. Your insights could be incredibly helpful to others in our community. If you found this video helpful, please give it a thumbs up. It tells us we're providing valuable information and helps others find it. And if you haven't already, consider subscribing to our channel and hitting that notification bell so you don't miss out on future videos designed to help you live your best life at every age. Thank you for watching. Keep taking good care of yourselves.